I think I made a big mistake.
Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here, and Karma, there she is. We're headed to go get some water, and she always loves to come along because she likes me to throw her the Frisbee while we're waiting for the tank to fill up. And I'm going to show you all how I get the water. That way, if you haven't seen the videos where I show you where I get my water and how I haul it back to the house, you can see that. It'll only take a minute or so for you to see how it actually works. But I saw a documentary, and it was something about how they're going to take everything, right? I forget the name of it. You all know I'm a little bit senile. And I realized, ladies and gentlemen, that time does not wait for anyone. And there are so many things that I want to do, that I want to experiment, that I continually give myself excuses as to why not do it, right? For example, well, you still have a child that's not an adult yet, so you better play it safe and wait until she's out of the house and taking care of herself. Well, next thing is going to be, well, your grandchild is still young, so you may want to wait. So I'm just going to keep making excuses for everything that comes along that is out of my comfort area. And this is something that I've been wanting to do for a really long time. My wife and I purchased a couple of -25°F sleeping bags, and I want to test it. And this video is mainly about me testing that sleeping bag to make sure that it will work during the coldest of times. And if it works outside, and what today is forecasted to be, I believe, a low of like -26, if it works in these conditions, then ladies and gentlemen, it'll definitely work inside your home during the worst case scenario that you have no heat whatsoever. And you'll at least know that, hey, it worked for this guy, maybe it'll work for me. Let me try it as well. I'm planning on spending most of the day and night outdoors. I may go in to get something that I may need, that maybe I forgot, but this is going to be a great learning opportunity as well, so that I can take notes and say, hey, next time we do this, we're going to need to bring this, 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 and this. Today, I'm just going to go off the cuff. I'm going to bring you along and go get the things that I think we're going to need for today, because it's going to be pretty cold all day long. And then I plan on doing a video kind of like this one, testing something new every week or every other week in these cold and extreme conditions. And then hopefully, with time, ladies and gentlemen, during this next summer in 2024, we'll actually go out there and do some real bushcraft camping out in the wilderness of Alaska and enjoy life a little more than just worry about everything that's going on. Because there's nothing that we can do, in my opinion, on a personal note, that can stop what's coming. The best thing that you can do is to get prepared, stay prepared, help your neighbors prepare, ladies and gentlemen, and prepare enough, if you can, to help your family and your community in the worst of times. It's about 20 minutes or so after 9 a.m. and today I believe is the 29th of December, it's Friday. And it's going to be pre-dawn, and what I mean by pre-dawn is that it's light enough outside where you don't necessarily need your headlights. So check this out. See my headlights. Oh, now that guy's gonna think that I am flashing him. But anyways, it's light enough to where you don't really need your headlights. But why keep them off? You know what I mean? Just be safe about it. But it's still dark enough to where, like, if you were looking for something, you would want to have like a flashlight or something like that, right? And the reason, again, why I say it's pre-dawn as well is because the sun is not supposed to rise till about 10 minutes or so to noon. So we've got about 2.5 hours before we actually see the sun. And it's going to be about this light, and it'll get a tiny bit lighter more and more as it gets closer to noon. And that's my old favorite gas station. I rarely ever go there anymore, because everyone that I knew in that gas station that worked there when I first started going there, no one that I first knew works there anymore. The people there are still very nice. I've gone in there a couple of times to get something or another, and the people there are still very nice, but it's just that I really don't know any of them. And since I don't go to work 9 to 5 anymore, I don't really have a reason to stop there in the mornings like I used to. So while we're waiting here for our coffee or brevet, let's talk about that. I believe the name of that documentary I saw was called The Great Taking. And ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you what. that was a very discouraging documentary to watch, but full of a lot of valid and true facts about what has been going on in these laws that they pass all the time. You know, those laws that they pass that are like 2,000 pages long, 4,000 pages long, and then they give Congress and the Senate, they give them not an hour, but like 24 hours to review it before they have to vote on it. And then months later, you find out, hey, this was in this law, that was in this law, something that is very draconian in nature and that is not for liberty's sake. So what they're going to do is and listen, this is, Gregory Mannarino has been talking about this for years. For as long as I have been listening to him, he has been talking about this, and he has been called a quack, I don't know how many times. But they're doing exactly what he said that they would do, that the end game is that they own everything. Who's they? The banks, ladies and gentlemen. The banks, the oligarchs, the 1% or the 0.1%. That's who they are. And they've written it into law that whatever you have that you think you own, you don't really own. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's very complicated. But the way I feel about this is that the best that we can do in order for us to win the fight of good versus evil, the best thing that the average person can do is to get as prepared in every possible way that they can. Is to try to wake up as many people that they know. Don't try to shove all of these years worth of information down someone's throat and say, you need to prepare because of this and this and this, and they're going to take everything away. No, just get them to prepare with those basic things for as long as they can, meaning for as many months of preparedness that they can accommodate for themselves and their families. That's going to be the best outcome, is if the majority of the population is well prepared for as long as possible. Because all of these things, ladies and gentlemen, that they put into all of these laws, I believe that they can be reversed. But do we have politicians that have the political will to reverse those things? And do the people actually want those things reversed? Because it would mean that stuff would be taken away from them. Anyways, I don't want to get into that too much on this video. This video is going to be all over the place, and I'm guessing it's going to be about an hour long. So I'm going to go ahead and set this as a premiere. That way we can be chatting on the side chats as this video plays out. And you know, oftentimes, ladies and gentlemen, I try to keep my videos to like between 10 and 20 minutes at the very most, because a lot of people just sign off after like 10 minutes or so, you know, with a short attention span that we've been gifted via TikTok and now YouTube Shorts. I try to make a YouTube Short ones because my YouTube representative, she keeps telling me, hey, listen, if you do YouTube Shorts, you're going to get a lot more subscribers, etc., etc. I'm like, listen, the best that I've ever been able to do in doing a YouTube Shorts was like 1 minute and 44 seconds. I was like, I can't get my message across in less than a minute. I just can't do it. It's not one of the skills that I portray. So anyways, that's why I don't do any YouTube Shorts. As far as getting back to how long the video is going to be, I don't really care. People are going to watch it, they're going to watch it. I will leave chapters on it if you want to skip to chapters. So maybe if you're someone that came on here and just wants to see how the sleeping bag performs and what the sleeping bag's name is and all that kind of stuff, you can just skip right to that part. If you're someone that just wants to hang out, you know, in the premiere or wants whatever, you can skip to whatever part you want using the chapters. So go ahead and use the chapters function if you find that I'm talking too much and you just want to get to the point of the video. But you can expect to see more videos like this, ladies and gentlemen, doing things that I've always wanted to do, but I've always found an excuse not to do it. And, you know, for whatever reason, ladies and gentlemen, and if you're that person too, hopefully this video will encourage you to go out there and do something that you think was crazy in the past, but you're like, hey, you know what? You only live once. As long as you make sure that you are safe, ladies and gentlemen, all right? Don't do anything crazy. I'm not going to do anything crazy today. With me, no matter what I'm doing, safety always comes first. Always. Poo-poo, where's your toy? Give me your toy. Go on, give me your toy. Look at that. She brings it with her so that we can play with it when we get water. And she loves coming over with me to get water all the time. I let her out of the truck and she hangs out with me. Yesterday, they were lighting off fireworks at night. And oh my goodness, her and dog, they were so scared. I mean, there were like trying to creep inside of my coat. They were so scared. But that's how we celebrate New Year's and Christmas here also in Alaska. Is a lot of fireworks go off. Why? Because it's dark. It's time that we have darkness. On the 4th of July, we really don't see many fireworks around here during the 4th of July because it's daylight outside. It's usually almost 24 hours of daylight all day long, all summer long. Ah, breve. If you haven't tried it, you need to try one. They are awesome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you can hear me. So as you can see, I've got a tank in there, and that tank is about 200 gallons. I'll fill it up to about 190, 95 gallons or so. And that's where the water goes. And I've got a hose attached to it, to which I'm gonna attach this ball valve. So what I'll do is, I'll go ahead and attach this ball valve to the hose. That way it can accept the 1.5 inch connection that the water shack has that we can put on here. It keeps us from having to climb inside the truck to put the hose inside of the tank. And instead we just connect it to this and we can fill it up without me having to get my old fat bones up on the truck. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and get the hose and connect it to my hose. Now that hose is open and it will accept water into my tank. And it costs me $6.50 to fill my tank up to about 190 gallons or so. And now while the tank is filling up, we go ahead and play a little bit of frisbee with Karma. She loves catching that darn thing for some reason. Maybe it's because she's a dog. And you can hear the water going in there. That water is going in there very fast. It takes maybe, if there's no one else here, it'll take about 2 minutes, maybe 2.5 minutes for that to fill up to almost 200 gallons. Come on, girl. Come on. What's the matter? Oh, you're getting cold? No, come on, let's go in the truck. And I'm not sure if you saw when we were coming in the beginning, the clock for the bank, it was like at -23. I'll see if I can catch it on our way out. All right, let's go home. What do you think you're doing? Are you gonna drive home? Are you driving home, Karma? Huh? Go on, get in the back, go on. And they just changed the name of this credit union. Now it's called Global Credit Union. What do you think about that, ladies and gentlemen? And look at that. I'm not sure if you can see that. It's -23. So it's 23 below zero, Fahrenheit speaking it is. And as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, there's probably about 50 gallons of water or so left in there. When it drains out, I'll just do the exact opposite that I did. I'll disconnect the hose and then I'll take the truck and turn it around. That way no water will settle towards the nose of the tank so it won't freeze there. And just in case some of you are wondering, why do I have an extension cord out here? Well, in Alaska, ladies and gentlemen, and I think in some of the lower 48 states that get really cold, we have to what is called winterize our vehicles. So what they do is they put a heating pad like in the transmission pan, the oil pan, and I also have a heater for the battery or a trickle charger for the battery, and then we plug it in to here. That way it doesn't freeze over when it gets really, really cold outside. Okay, I wish I would have caught this on camera, but what this is how these birch trees spread their seeds, is by spreading these around. Well, a couple of days ago, I was going into the bunker and I hear a whole bunch of flapping. And I'm like, what in the world is that? And then I see all of these little seeds fall on the ground. And I looked up and there must have been about 300 birds up on these trees, little birds flapping their wings at the same time. It was pretty cool. You know what? I hear Big Red. And let's go take a look and see how the chickens are doing. I told you that this video was going to be all over the place, but here they are. Look at them. Hey, there's Poppy up there. Here's Big Red. Big Red is a stud. It looks like we need to feed them later on. Let's see how their water's doing. Their water's fine. We got plenty of water left. I usually come in here and check it out to make sure that it's actually working. That way, they don't run out of water. And it looks like someone has a few eggs down there that they're guarding, and that one over there as well is guarding a few eggs. I can see them from here. Yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, they gave me the most eggs that they've ever given me in one day. I got 10 eggs yesterday. I was like, whoa, that's awesome. That's 1 egg per hen. You can see that I closed the door because it is really chilly outside and they really don't have any business being outside in this cold weather. And look at this guy. Come here, Luna. Look at Luna. This is Luna. This is my neighbor's dog. And she's very friendly. She's a Malamute, I believe. And she scared the heck out of me a few mornings ago, about a week ago or so. And look, she's really friendly. And she's very nice to have roaming around because she's friendly with us. And people that don't know her because they're not from around here, if they for some reason come down here, they don't know that. Now there's a couple of things that we're going to grab from in here. One of them is going to be this table right here so we can put our stuff on. We're going to go ahead and grab this house wrap. I got some left, and this looks like it's a good size. Right? And we're also going to grab this, ladies and gentlemen. I just thought about this. We're going to grab this canopy. This is meant for summers, but I think it'll work great during the winter. Oh, and we can't forget our mosquito repellent. So I'll go ahead and grab our mosquito repellent, make sure that we don't get bit by mosquitoes. Just kidding. We don't have mosquitoes. They'd be crazy to be hanging out now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up that canopy in that area right there. And then I'm going to take some of that house wrap and I'm going to wrap it around 3 of the sides in order to block any wind from coming in. And then we'll see about starting a small fire, a campfire to keep us a little bit warm in there, and we'll take it from there. Well, ladies and gentlemen, something that I've already noticed about being out here, and I think it's like -15 out here right now. I still have to get my thermometer and bring it out here so that we can see exactly what the temperature is. But one thing that I noticed is that as long as you're moving, you're fine. Even my hands are fine. My hands are not cold, and they're usually the first thing that go on me when it's cold outside. So what am I wearing, ladies and gentlemen? Well, you saw the gloves and the hat that I'm wearing. I'm also bringing an additional hat that has a flashlight on it in case I get too hot wearing the other hat, because that hat is very warm. I'm wearing some lined jeans, and if I get cold enough to where the lined jeans are not doing it for me, I'll go ahead and put these overalls on top of them. And then for my shirt, I'm going to wear this long sleeve button down shirt that has nice fluffies inside. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wear this stuff right here outside while I'm actively working and doing stuff. And if I get too cold, I'll go ahead and transfer to my jacket that has the same pattern as these pants. You've seen me wearing that jacket before. I'm going to be wearing these Danners. These were actually the boots that were issued to me when I was still in the Army. And these are winter grade boots for negative temperatures. And socks, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that may not know, are extremely important. Now remember, I'm going to be right next to my house. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is just going to be a fun little experiment for me. I guess you can call it a mini excursion to see how this sleeping bag that we got works. But in addition to that, we have to also use all of the other things that we need in order to stay out there and be safe about it. Let me show you everything that I brought out here. This 4-inch mattress here is going to go between the ground and the sleeping bag. I also brought my shed knife, of course, the wool blanket. I've got a small table here. I got my chair so that we can tell some scary ghost stories. And I got a piece of cardboard that was just laying around getting ready to go to the trash so that I can put it under my 4-inch mattress. Now what we have to do is I have to go in there and I have to make sure that that's level. That's where my sleeping bag is going to go, where dog is right there. So I went in there already and I got rid of any remnants of any dog poo or pee that may have been on the ground. And then we're gonna go in there, level that out, get our sleeping arrangements settled, then get our tables settled, and then just take it from there. Now keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, I'm on my property. I haven't bugged out. For those people that say, well, you have to be able to bug out and things like that, that's great. But what I mean is, take a look at people that have disabilities, the elderly. Are they going to be able to bug out and just go anywhere and start a fire and live life happily ever after? That's why I'm not planning on bugging out unless it's the very last thing that I can do, because it's a life or death situation. We're going to go ahead and get a little bit of wood to hopefully have a bit of a fire tonight. And just the snow alone is making it so much more difficult than what it would otherwise be. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so I have to take a break, and this is why. Because you can see me steaming, it means that I'm sweating. And, excuse me, the worst thing that you do not want to get sweaty and not be able to dry off. That is the very worst thing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Celsius Grand Double X Large. And it's rated to negative 25 degrees Fahrenheit, as I've told you probably about 10 times by now. It's 90 inches long by 39 inches wide, and it's one of the square bags. It's not one of the like teardrop shapes that you see. Let's see if it says it's water resistant shell, no cold spots. It says double layer offset stitching, soft touch poly flannel lining. I guess that's the inside. And the pack weight is 9.5 pounds, so just shy of 10 pounds. And as you can see, I haven't had to put on any more layers because I'm just not that cold. Even my hands are very comfortable, which is usually what goes first is my hands. So I'm just going to go ahead and start a fire the easy way with the pull start. And I've shown this off on previous videos, but I'll show it again because I just think that this is such an awesome little contraption that everyone ought to have this in their get home bag or bug out bag, whatever you want to put it in. And that's why I really like that pull start, because look, ladies and gentlemen, it's very easy to get a fire going, even if you're an amateur like me. I'm going to see if I can split some of these other pieces of wood with my shed knife, just to see if it works to do that, and also to have smaller pieces of wood, because I know that those will burn easier. This is a very good knife. After all of the abuse that I just gave this knife, it's still very nice. But go check out this company, Shed Knives. I'm not affiliated with them. I don't get a kickback. If you buy 1 million of these, I don't get a kickback. But the young man that makes these knives, makes them all here in the United States of America with U.S. parts. I think I always forget what state he's out of, but I know he's a young man. I think he's 19, 21 years old, something like that. And he makes outstanding knives. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not sure exactly where the other one lost power, but I lost power while I was recording. And I went ahead and brought out my little 600, and it's at 100%. Let's see how much of a charge it loses due to the cold. All we have to do is take the portable fire pit, all right, and light the wicks, and this should last, according to the package, 3 to 4 hours. That's if my lighter will light. Everything is 10 times more difficult in the cold. That's one thing that you can count on. Enough messing around, ladies and gentlemen. I have to bring out the big dog. We'll go ahead and put our cast iron pot. Look at that. The oil on it is viscous. Oh, goodness. We'll see how long that takes to get nice and hot, huh? Shouldn't take that long. The fire, by the way, was just roaring, all right? And it's now running out of a little bit of the real dry fuel. I may have to put some more of my scrap wood on there in order to keep it going, because that little tree that I took down wasn't as dead as it looked. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I do believe that it might be ready. Let's see. Well, we do have a sizzle. I don't know if you hear that or not, but it is sizzling. So let's see how long it'll take for it to cook. The fire's really going now, and this steak I think is going to take forever to cook. I mean, this is working the way it's supposed to work, but it's just not producing enough BTU, I don't think, for that steak to cook any faster. But we'll leave it on there until it's cooked. If not, I'll wait till the fire burns down a little bit and maybe use some ambers to put this pot onto, or this skillet onto. Oh, and I went ahead and lit up my little UCO chandelier. And believe it or not, it's just not bad. Well, what is it now? It's -10. Okay, it's -10 outside. And I mean, everything is actually not bad. I'm not freezing. I put on the rest of my suit, and check this out. Instead of boots, I just put on a couple of wool socks, and I've got my house slippers, my winter fluffy house slippers on, and my feet feel fine. And my wife did me what is called a real solid. She went ahead and dug out some of these hand warmers for me out of the pantry. And I'm not going to use them really to warm my hands, but I'm going to use them to keep next to the phone so that the phone can stay warm, because that's my camera. And whenever it gets too cold, it tends to lose its capacity really quick, and or it stops recording. So let me go ahead and I'm going to open only one of these so that I can have it right next to my phone. And this fire does make me a little anxious because look, it's throwing little tiny embers. And although it's not landing on the canopy over here, it makes me wonder. I'm definitely not going to have anything going on while I'm asleep, right? Hopefully when I go to sleep, or before I go to sleep, I'll be able to warm down the inside of the sleeping bag. And the way that I'm going to do that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be with the hand warmers. So about maybe half an hour or so before I decide to go and hit the sack, I'll throw 3 or 4 hand warmers inside the sleeping bag. And then I'll get in there with the hand warmers in there, and they'll help to keep that space in there warm throughout the night. And something else that you want to do is, if you have your boots, like for example, I don't have my boots. I have my house slippers on out here, believe it or not. I mean, you saw them. If you have boots, is to keep a few hand warmers that are not open with you. That way you can put them inside your boots or your footwear in the morning before you put your feet in there. That way you don't put your feet into a pair of boots that is freezing. Well, ladies and gentlemen, obviously I'm not an expert in bushcraft, but I'm having a lot of fun doing this. So I think this is a great exercise for all of you to do, no matter where you live. I mean, how much wood would you go through an entire night if you were going to be burning wood for an entire night? Obviously, that small tree that I cut down, and I never even cut one of those limbs down because I was starting to get really sweaty. I still have some wood there to the side, some scrap, and I still have some of the original wood. But how much wood would you need for the night? This here's probably been running for about the last hour and a half straight. So that's probably enough for about another hour, hour and a half right there. So I would say that I would have needed about 3 times as much wood as what I've got right now in order for it to make it through an entire night. Now imagine if it was colder than what it is now. I would really need to have a fire just to make sure that I can survive through the night, even though I have a good sleeping bag. I think that I mentioned this, but in case I didn't, that sleeping bag that I purchased, I believe we paid about $129 for it. It was on sale, so it was a great deal. All right, so I am very sorry to the original fire pit, but I can't wait all night for my steak to cook. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and bring it down here. One thing that I have noticed is that I haven't drank anything in like the last hour and a half. And that's probably something that you want to keep an eye on. Make sure that you make yourself drink water, drink electrolyte, whatever it is that you may have, because dehydration will sneak up on you in the cold because you think you're not thirsty, but really your body is. I decided to go ahead and finish it off on the city bonfires, ladies and gentlemen, because I was just tired. of messing around with the smoke. And I will say that putting it on the embers over there did a pretty good job for the time that I had it on there. And it should be almost done. Oh yeah, it feels like medium right here. Medium rare. I think we're gonna start digging into that. One thing that you do want to remember is that when you're dealing with negative degree temperatures, you don't want to handle anything that's metal with your bare hands. Let's see what the temperature is right now. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen, negative 15 right now. I don't know if you can see that, but it is kind of chilly. And I'm still wearing my Crocs. So let's see what this is looking like. This is the good part of the T-bone. Wish it was a porterhouse. Oh, that looks really nice, actually. Oh, look at that. That looks pretty. I'll let you know what it tastes like. And I have to say that that was delicious, or is delicious. And the only seasoning that this has, ladies and gentlemen, is salt and a little bit of garlic. That's it. We are out here for good now, ladies and gentlemen. So it's a good thing that that I go to sleep early, right? I usually go to bed about 8:30, 9 o'clock, and I wake up around 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. So it won't be any different today. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the bunker. I'm going to grab my second phone. That way I can use one for recording, and I can use one to either listen to my audiobooks or watch a couple of shows. And we'll see how it goes. I'm expecting it to go pretty well because I'm very comfortable right now. And I think, let's see what the temperature is. As you can see there, the temperature is 16 below zero. And the reason that there says 32 Fahrenheit is because that's supposed to be the interior or the inside temperature. And I don't think it goes below 32 because it's supposed to be inside. I am really surprised, ladies and gentlemen, at how well my Crocs are working. Now, these are the Crocs that have like the fur inside. And like I said, I have 2 pair of wool socks on with my Crocs, and my feet are very comfortable. Since I'm not on level ground, I keep sliding off of this mattress here, this foam pad. And I definitely don't want my sleeping bag to be right on the ground. So right now, I've got this wool blanket over the opening of the sleeping bag. And I have the top of the sleeping bag open so that I can at least have part of my body on the foam mattress so I won't slide down. So we will see how it goes. I'm going to do my best to make it through the morning. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you in the morning. The truth, I was very comfortable inside the sleeping bag as far as temperature goes, but it was every time I kept sliding off. That was really killing me. So I had to get out, lose all the heat inside that sleeping bag, and start over again with hopefully a more flat space where the sleeping bag won't slide off. So let's try this again and see what happens. I'm not sliding off now, and I can already feel those hand warmers giving me back some of the heat that I lost. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I am nice and comfy in here. After 2 hours of trial and error, I'm finally nice and comfy. Very comfortable. I'm on flat ground now, and there is nothing that's going to get me out of this bag. It's just shy of 2 o'clock in the morning, and let me tell you what, very comfy. You can see the steam coming out. I'm not sure if you can see it or not, but I was very, very comfy in there, probably a little bit too warm. So the next time I'll know enough to take my jacket off, right? That's a rookie mistake, really. I should have taken my jacket off, but I was just really cold, so I left it on. I wish you could see this, but the outside of my sleeping bag is like crusted over with ice. The outside that's near my head, and that's like from my breath coming out and from all the warmth coming out and meeting with the cold of the outside and creating a little bit of condensation. It just crusted over on the bag. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Well, right now it's not too bad. It's only -7. I don't think you can see that, but it's -7, not too bad. And our little OUPES went from 100% to 98. And I don't know, I've had this thing out here for about 8 hours or so. So that's not bad at all. And I didn't use it to charge anything but my phones. So it did pretty good as far as keeping its charge in negative-degree weather. And you can see that the puck, the hybrid light puck, is still on. And it's been on the entire time ever since I turned it on for the first time. But you can see also here that it's almost out of power. So it's been on the entire time. So those two things did really well. And again, even though it took me a while to figure things out with the sleeping bag, because again, it was so darn slippery and I kept sliding off this mattress. What I learned about it is that you need to take your time when you're setting things up. That way it's just right. If not, it's going to take you a lot of time and frustration to continue to fix it until you have it right. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my OUPES inside the bunker, and then I'm going to go in the house and I am going to take all my stuff off and put it inside the washer because it all smells like smoke. If you're still here, I hope you got something out of this. At the very minimum, a bit of entertainment. I am going to continue doing videos like this, experimenting ways that we can keep warm during winter conditions. Because if I can keep warm in these outside conditions, then it should, at a minimum, show you how to keep warm inside during a crisis where you lose heat due to electricity loss, etc. God bless everyone, God bless America, and may you and your family have a very happy and prosperous new year.